Hey guys, it's Sophia here from the Nutrition Athlete, and I'm here with one of my amazing clients, Maddie, who will be chatting all things comp and her experience during her first ever comp prep. Thank you for being here, Maddie. I know you're extremely busy doing what you love. So, can you please tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
So my name is Maddie. I, in my usual kind of 9 to 5, do an office-based job, so a lot of sitting, all the rest of that. I come from a very fit household. My partner is also a gym junkie, and I'm a fur mama, so I've got two little sausage dogs at home. I've always been into sports, always loved training at the gym, but not until more recently have I gotten more structured and programming since I started with you.
So nice, so nice. And bit of Kath and Kim in there. I'm just in that zone. And what are you working on in the program right now?
So at the moment, I just competed in my first comp on the weekend. So I'm just pumping through a reverse diet, getting those calories back up, and I'm starting to feel a lot more energy. So I have started back at the gym as well. So back into my normal structured workouts, which is usually a 3 lower body day, 2 upper body day split. And then we usually work on those programs and do the same thing for 4 to 6 weeks. And when I start to plateau, we move on to the next thing just to make sure we're still growing some muscle there.
Always about the growth. Well, tell us a little bit about your comp over the weekend. Just a little bit. How was your experience on comp day?
It was amazing. So it was my first ever comp, and I was quite overwhelmed with, hair, makeup, tan, everything, getting on stage. But I really, really enjoyed myself. So I took my entire personality on stage, had a really good time, placed fourth in my first ever WBFF competition. So I was absolutely thrilled. I'm still in a high, as you can tell by my smile that will not go away. But no, I loved it, loved it.
Yeah, you looked incredible, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who will definitely agree that your personality absolutely shone on stage. So let's talk a little bit about your time before joining me in the comp prep pathway. Where were you in life? What were you doing?
So I had, the typical looking on Instagram, writing down workouts that I saw or that I thought, would build me a booty. So I was really onto that. I'd done a couple quick, 6 week shred programs, a little bit of body dysmorphia because I was quite skinny. So I'm not too sure why I was doing shred programs. However, at that point in time, I was quite restrictive, not too much of an understanding about nutrition. So, I was just going with what I thought was common knowledge, avoiding processed foods, avoiding eating out, and doing all of those things. And when I wasn't restrictive and I did those things, I would guilt trip myself, pull back again, stop eating, and then binge again. So I was in a little bit of a unhealthy cycle, training 6 to 7 days a week, and I would not give myself time off. So I was always quite fatigued, exhausted. I wasn't tracking my progress either. So with the weights I was lifting, so I was essentially just doing the same things over and over and over and not getting any results. But I really couldn't understand why. But yeah, so that's where I was. So I was feeling not too good about myself, quite critical of myself, and yeah, just stuck in a little bit of a negative headspace compared to where I am now.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. That connected with me on a few points as well. I think growing up in our generations where, gym became, I remember growing up when bodybuilding started to become popular,
Yeah,
and going through every single diet, every single trend. And it really does take a toll, and you don't notice it until later on. And yeah, it can get really tough. So, you mentioned a little bit about kind of the struggles you had there. What kind of impact did all of those elements and factors have on you as a person?
So I think that it just made me, not look at the good parts of, my body. I was a little bit scared to wear a bikini, that kind of stuff. Always just being down on myself for no particular reason. So trying to stick to this outrageous, unrealistic plan that I had, that I thought that I needed to adhere to, it just wasn't healthy. So I can definitely say I'm a lot healthier now.
Oh, you definitely sound it. You did mention that, you weren't going out to eat. So
Oh,
how did
yeah.
it impact other aspects of your life, like your social life, your relationships? Did it kind of filter into those areas as well?
Yeah, definitely. So, date night was either non-existent or too much because, like I said, those things I would restrict so much and then it would just end up with me binging. I did notice as well confidence drops simply because I wasn't eating so consistently and I wasn't kind of taking care of my body that, I was having hormonal issues. I had a lot of acne, so my skin was never ever clear and I just could not understand why that was. My menstruation was always irregular, always quite significant period pains, everything like that. And I just couldn't figure out, why I was having all of these issues, poor sleep. But I was essentially just eating whatever I wanted. And most of that stuff was bad food because I would restrict. And then, every single time I ate something worse, or what I considered to be worse, I would then eat less. So, yeah, there were a lot of changes in my body that made me lose my confidence and devalue, my self worth. So then I wasn't going out with friends. I wasn't going and doing things because, I just didn't feel like it.
Yeah, 100%. And I love the fact that you kind of linked that to your internal health because confidence, like I know it's doesn't come from the outside, it comes from the inside, and it's not necessarily just a mental thing. Confidence is how you feel. It comes from your internal well-being. And you mentioned like you were getting symptoms, it was making you uncomfortable, it was painful, it was, and you can't be your confident self when your systems are completely out of whack and they're not harmonized. And it just sounds like your systems weren't confident themselves. And it's literally one of those things where you really did look internally for those flags and went, you know what? We need to build from the inside out. And I'm so glad that you felt comfortable enough to share that today. So, if we're coming on the back of this, what was your first goal joining the comp rep pathway other than the goal of competing? Did you have something else in mind that you wanted to achieve?
100%. So I knew that I needed to work on my nutrition because the foods that I was considering were poor quality or not eating. I've come to realize that there is no such thing as good or bad foods. It's just that, about fitting them into your life and making sure that you're getting, all of the rest of the nutrients that you need. So for me, it was mainly just that knowledge about how can I be more flexible with my eating? How can I make sure that, if I can't bring my scales with me, how am I going to make a good choice for myself or know what I'm eating? So, for me, that was one of my main goals because I knew that I wasn't eating enough. But also the training side of things, I was a little bit delusional. I thought, my training program, I'm hitting every single body part, once a week. What else can I do? So I really wanted a structured training program just to see how it would go. I was thinking, no, my training program is pretty good. No experience, just picking random exercises off the internet and stealing my partner's training routine. But, I thought, I might be able to benefit from this. We'll see how it goes. So for me, it was to make sure that I was doing the proper exercises and, yeah, to learn some stuff about nutrition. So I've definitely done that now.
It definitely sounds like it. You're starting to sound a bit like me when you're talking through your food, and we're just turning into each other.
I know.
So, so good to hear that you're feeling that your relationship with food itself has improved. And I mean, from what I've seen you eat, like you are so creative in your recipes, and that it just seems like you're enjoying just the process of eating. And I always talk about that mindful eating practice, and how one obstacle to overcome when it comes to poor food relationships is actually spending time with food, like a human relationship. You need connection, you need to listen and understand each other. And that's what mindful eating is. You experience food in your mouth, you taste it, you experience where in your mouth you're feeling things: sweet, sour, bitter, and that's how you communicate and enjoy food. And you seem to be doing it very well, miss.
Yes, I do. I absolutely love my food, and I don't feel guilty about certain things either. So, even after my comp, I went and I had a massive pasta, and I can recognize that, hey, my body actually needs this fuel. So instead of going and eating a whole entire cake to myself, right after I've been in a deficit for how long, I made that choice saying, what is my body asking me for? Not necessarily what am I craving? Oh, of course, I could eat a whole tub of ice cream if I wanted to, sure. But what is my body actually asking me for? And for me, that's carbs. I just want carbs. I want bread and butter.
Can definitely tell.
you
uh,
know, so I'm able to make good decisions for myself because, I'm weighing up the options when it comes to my foods. Um, how am I going to feel after this as well? How am I going to feel after I have this food? Is it going to fill that void that I'm feeling, or can I make a better option that's going to leave me, fully satiated and, not craving more sugar? So I have been able to make some really great decisions, and even now I thought it would be so hard saying no to certain things too. It's actually not, because when you want to achieve your goal and you've got set targets in place, I love formulating, the foods that I'm going to eat for the day, and I stick to that. And if there's something I really want, I move things around and I make it happen. So, yeah, no, I'm completely confident with my nutrition now. I could never have expected that I would be this confident in choosing my own foods. So, yeah, it's great.
I love you make it happen. That's literally gold for me, because that's my goal with all of my clients, is to give them the power to make decisions and take control of whatever health status they want to achieve. It's okay. You want to do a comp, you can do a comp. You want to lose weight, you can lose weight. You want to build muscle, you can build muscle. It's all okay, as long as you have the confidence and the kind of empowered decision making skills to actually make what you want happen. And that's so good to hear. So, on the back of the nutrition and all of these actions that you took, has anything else changed in your life since you started making these decisions and taking back control?
I am so much healthier. I don't think that I have ever had such good sleeps in my life. And just purely comp prep stuff, you hear so many people saying, I can't sleep, all the rest of that. Absolutely no issues. Gut health is amazing. So prior to working with you, I used to have quite bad bloating. I can't really remember the last time that I felt bloated apart from drinking, large amounts of water. But, it's just all of those types of things, because I guess, when you get so used to having, stomach pain or, all of those issues, it feels quite bizarre to then go, hey, I actually feel quite good. So, yeah, no, I've definitely noticed a lot of kind of little things coming out. So my skin's quite clear as well. And I always get asked, how is your skin that clear? And it really comes down to, especially the foods that you're choosing, how many preservatives are you consuming, all of that kind of stuff. So, these choices that I've made, it hasn't, just affected, what I'm eating. It's actually affected the way that I'm looking, the way that I'm feeling, and what I want to do. So now I can go out and enjoy the food, whatever I like, and I can make good choices if I've had, if I consume most of my calories for the day, or, if I've got an excess amount of calories to consume, I can get something a little bit more fancy. And I understand, how many calories is maybe going to be in that meal. And it's all about approximations. You don't have to do everything on point, but being confident in choosing something and not feeling like, oh no, I shouldn't be eating that. It's that power. I love having it.
It suits you. No, that's so great to hear. So look, if you had a mate, you're talking to a friend, and they were really anxious about, taking their health to the next level, what would you say to them?
I would say don't be scared to, have a chat to someone. And it doesn't need to be intensive. It can just be, having a chat about what are healthy foods. Give yourself a bit of a run of tracking your foods and see, what am I actually consuming? How many calories am I on a day? Because I know, especially in my personal instance, complete manipulation of calories, even if you change nothing else, it's going to drastically change your weight. Obviously dependent on metabolism and how much activity you're already doing. But I would just say, yeah, jump out of your comfort zone. That's why people are coaches. They're here to help. They're the professionals on this stuff. And, there is so much behind the scenes when it comes to nutrition as well, and making good choices. So if you've got someone to guide you on the way, whether you want complete control to choose your own food or you want a meal plan, you're going to get results out of it either way. So I would just say, take it on, do it, because if you invest in other areas of your life and you can, pay to go out and have a couple of drinks on the weekend, there's absolutely no way that you wouldn't be able to afford, to invest in your health, pay health insurance. You probably should get a coach.
Having said that, working with an online coach, specifically, what advice would you give them? How would they approach working with an online coach?
So I guess you kind of need a level of dedication yourself. You need to be ready to change. I do think that having an online coach keeps you accountable. So yeah, just jumping outside your comfort zone. I think getting yourself an online coach is a really good thing.
Oh, amazing. Solid advice, Miss. So thank you for sharing all of your insights, Maddie. I mean, we could talk forever because apparently we're the same person. But there we go. Those are some great results from Maddie in the comp prep pathway. If her story resonates with you, if you want to be the strongest you've ever been or improve your quality of life and make those empowered decisions so you don't have to feel guilty about food ever again, then jump on, book a call with me. We can help each other figure it out and see if we can work together. So jump on the link below, and I cannot wait to chat with you. Thank you, Maddie, for your time today. I have so many other questions I want to ask you, but that's for another day. But thank you again. You've just been an absolute inspiration to everyone on social media. And I get surprised by sometimes your comments and feedback about how you're feeling. I mean, no worries. Everything's great is like your quote of the day. You're like, oh, no, yes, worries. I want to help. Oh, how can I help? And you're like, no, I got this. I'm fine. I'm feeling good. I'm like, okay. And yeah, the package you delivered on stage is literally all of your hard work, all of your learning. And that's something that I think watching you made me teary, is because the body, the physique, the mindset, the personality, what you put on stage was an embodiment of everything you have learnt in the time that we've been together. And how long have we been together?
1.5 years now, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while. So, and it's been a while of, tracking and measuring and kind of working out how your body wants to work as opposed to making it work a certain way. Yeah. So you mentioned you came to me with different symptoms, and it's going to be completely different from the next person. And I'm so happy that you were open and willing to try things and review and experiment and change in order to get to know your body for what it is and who it is. So thank you very
Yeah.
much for allowing me to come on this experience with you. I look forward to the next phase.
Yes, I know. 2.0 is loading.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Maddie. Have an amazing day.
Thanks, Sophia.